Chandler's going, I guess, this roller coaster of nights where it's like sleep's great. Then we go a night where it's like, good Lord. Like last night we were up. I think we exchanged. It was like tag team. Like I feel like I was like, we were like the Dudley brothers or something. Like it was like he would
Devon, cut the table.
exactly like she.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dad Intentions Podcast. We're back here at the Treehouse Lounge.
We're back.
We got my co-host Donovan here with me. I'm Mark, and we got our boy Terrence tuning in from Austin, Texas.
Back home
with the kids and Dara.
Baby.
How's it feel being back home, man?
Man, it's good being back. My mom was just in town. She just flew back home today. So
yeah,
it's been good, man. Back in my crib, sleeping in my own bed is great.
That's always nice. That's not how was the flight back home though? You didn't have any big delays, did you?
Wait a minute. Did you just brush your beard?
Why you hating, bro?
I just want to make sure that our audience just don't see that and be like, we can't just brush past you brushing your beard, you know. But I like it though. I'm with it.
I'm at home. I'm comfortable. I'm doing what I do.
I feel you.
Y'all lucky I got pants on.
You can have pants on.
I mean, you can wear your boxers if you want, bro. We don't film from the bottom down, so
pause.
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but how is it, man? How's it back home?
The flight back wasn't bad. I don't think we had any delays really. It was a smooth flight, the way that the flight home should have been. But I'm just glad we didn't have any delays on the way back because I was already tired enough. I wouldn't have made it.
I couldn't imagine, dude. Couldn't imagine. I had some people just reach out to me through DMs that were listening to the podcast and watching the YouTube video, and they're like, Terrence is a brave one for traveling with two twins and doing almost 14 hours, in the airport and on the plane.
Yeah.
But
had no choice, man.
Safely, man. I'm glad y'all. Is that your mom's first time coming down to Austin, or she been down there before?
Nah, she's been down a few times. This is like the third time she's been to the house. She I don't know, it's probably like her fourth or fifth time down.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad she got to come. I'm sure she enjoyed that uninterrupted one-on-one time.
Oh yeah.
And things like that. Did you get some sleep though? Did you get to nap it all while she had
I got some good sleep. Mostly my sleeping was on the weekends though, because I would get home from work and then I would feel guilty if I went and took a nap at that point. So during the week, it was whatever. Friday, I worked from home, so I was pretty well rested. I got about an extra hour of sleep just waking up and hopping on the computer right out here. But I feel pretty well rested at this point. We got some good sleep over the weekend.
So this was your first full week, like doing 40-hour work away from home and then coming home to the kids, right?
No, second.
Okay.
Because technically that middle week was the week I was home, so I was just remote.
Okay. Yeah, how are you adjusting to that? Because I know Sydney, it's tough. I'm sure it's totally different from a mom's standpoint versus a dad's standpoint, but like her getting home about 5:30, and then bedtime's at 8, so she only has 2 hours at most of like full on time. How are you doing with that?
Honestly, it's weird because I'll sit there. We have this app where it's like one of the shortcuts on my home screen, and it'll just flash pictures of them. And it's like basically like it's the same thing as iCloud and just starting an album, but it's an app that we use, and we just share pictures with like aunts, uncles, everybody in the immediate family, and it'll just pop pictures up constantly. So I'll be sitting there working on something, and then I'll look down at my phone and I see like a picture of the boys, and I'm like, damn, bro, I wonder what they're doing. This is trash. But it's not bad. I mean, it's okay because I know Dara would love to technically get. I mean, not that I'm getting away. I'm at work, but you know what I'm saying. I know when she's home by herself with them, it's like it's a burden, or it feels rough. So I know when she goes back. Yeah, I know when she goes back to work, she's gonna be feeling how I feel, probably even a little worse. But it's not too bad for me. I do have like one or two moments throughout the day where I'm like, I wonder what they're doing. But other than that, it's cool.
Man. Yeah, it's an adjustment all the way around. You know, with me being off, I think I'm in my fourth week of my 12 off, and I'm like, oh man, this is great.
It's flying by.
It is flying by, like crazy. But it's like I get to experience all this time with him, but I also see like that side where Sydney's like working Monday through Friday, coming home, and it's just like I got this little bit of time. So our weekends we try to fill so much with him, but also we got to fill in our own time of like, you know, like our friends are like, hey, let's go canoeing this weekend. You know, we're like, yeah, we want to go because
Yeah.
we also have personal life stuff we want to do. So it's like that balance. So like we actually got into the topic actually earlier today, talking about her next job, like where she's at now. She you know, we know that's not going to be her forever job.
Yeah.
And probably the next was not either. But we're like, hey, why not think about looking into maybe she's a physician assistant, looking into like a 12, you know, 3/12s instead of a 40-hour week where you're
Right.
working, like you're working 12, you're off a day, working 12 off, you know.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, but think about all the time you're going to be home. Like, don't think about the times where you're like, well, I might have to work a Saturday. Yeah, but you were off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, instead of you working Monday through Friday and then off 2 days.
Saturdays are tough
yeah.
though. That's a
Saturdays
hard
are
trade off.
hard.
It is. It's tough. That Saturday, especially during the day when you're working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and we both have been there, like with our jobs, but
Yeah.
it's just it does suck.
I think I've been conditioned a little bit differently now, being on the fire department for you know, over 8 years or so, to where if I work a Saturday, I know I'm off the next two. Right. So like I try to be like, hey, you know, I'm off these next 2 Saturdays. If there's something we want to do, let's try to get it in those Saturdays instead of. So you just try to adjust to your schedule no matter what.
I'm a big fan for if I could have a shortened work week and work more hours in those days.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
410s
all day.
410 sounds great.
410s,
Hey,
312s, whatever. Something that's going to get you
is-
in that range to where you have more time off.
That 4 10-hour schedule is clutch because you get off, you know, Thursday at 5 o'clock and you have until Sunday, you know, until Monday you go back to work. Like it's clutch.
Yeah, I would not argue if she had the 410s. But
No.
I'm just saying I can see where, especially with your first child, that 40-hour week coming home is just like,
man. Yeah.
You know. But overall, things are good with us. Chandler's going, I guess, this roller coaster of nights where it's like sleep's great. Then we go a night where it's like, good Lord. Like last night we were up. I think we exchanged. It was like tag team. Like I feel like I was like, we were like the Dudley brothers or something. Like it was like he would
Devon, cut the
table. Exactly. Like she would go in, do her thing. He'll go down, and we'll both be in bed. And like it's kind of weird because like if she gets up, I get up. Like I don't get out of bed, but I'm like I'm awake, so I'm just like ugh. And we'll both find ourselves at times like scrolling through TikTok together because we're just up, like can't fall back asleep.
Yeah.
And then we'll finally get back to sleep, and you hear the monitor, you hear that crying, and you're like, oh my gosh. So we got to the point now where we're like, all right, we got to go 10 minutes almost of crying, you know, to see if he like kind of soothes himself, trying to work on that soothing yourself, getting back to sleep. I don't know if y'all started that yet or not, Terrence. But it's a
I've
fun
been
game,
doing it
but
since the
also...
beginning, but Dara don't like it.
Exactly. I'm with you. I'm like, bro, let him figure it out. But so yeah, like you said, it's like, all right, you're up next.
Yeah.
You know, like tag us in. And that last night, it was literally every night. I mean, every hour we saw each other. Like, so this morning she got up. I think the last was like 6:30. She got up and she was up with him. And I didn't get up till like 9:30 after that. So, but
hey,
everything's good.
It's adjusting. That's good, man.
Everything's good. I saw you and Sierra were doing some
you know,
rocking chair shopping.
Yeah, we tested out, seeing which one we wanted, you know, and we went to this place in Louisville off of Shelbyville, and it was nice, man. They had a bunch of different gliders there, and definitely tested. They had 6 different options there. We didn't buy anything yet because I was like, oh, you got plenty of time as long as you order within the next month.
Oh, okay.
Said you have plenty of time, but you also
want. Place at Oxmoor Mall?
No, it's on Shelbyville. Keep going down that way.
Past the malls?
Yeah, past the malls. Okay. It was nice. I think I found one we like a lot.
Yeah.
It had a nice little recliner on it. gliding, and it was they call it the active wear on the fabrics, where obviously baby's gonna get sick on it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Go from there. So tested that out. We've still been busy just trying to get all the room together. You know,
How far
we
along are y'all?
got she's 6 months.
Or I
About
mean,
to enter.
I meant with
Oh,
the nursery. Sorry.
let's see. We got the crib up. We
Either
got
way.
we got a rug in. We got the curtains up. We got a dresser. We just need a glider, and I think we'll
Nice.
be set. And so, you know, training table and all the other
Yeah.
decorative stuff on the walls and everything. But
Yeah.
got to feel a baby kick
Oh,
on
did
last
you?
Sunday. Yeah,
What?
first time. It was awesome.
Dude,
Like it's like
it's different.
she's been bragging about it for the longest.
Well, she
about
can
being
feel
able
it
to,
for-
you
yeah,
know,
she can
not
feel
not bragging, but like, oh, I wish you could feel it because we were in Hawaii and she was like jumping because it was like kicking so much, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Sydney was the same way. She had
And-
like all these like you said, all these like, oh, I can feel it. Can you feel it? And you're like,
Yeah.
no, I can't. You know,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So now it's like a nightly thing. I'll get home, just wait to holding this stomach, trying to feel the baby. It's awesome. Like this feeling like it's such a surreal thing, you know.
It's different, man.
I don't know. And then you start really thinking like there's like literally a human in there just doing rolls around.
It's slowly starting to get real for you.
I know. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we talked, you know, about a couple months ago. Like, when did it start feeling real? You know, like, you know, I think it was like when we found out it was a boy. That's when it really hit. But now
Yeah.
it's like a different level of real. Like, oh shit, I can actually feel him like moving and stuff like that. There's actual.
I'll be so just to piggyback off what you're saying, like when to feel real.
Mm-hmm.
For those who know, and now everybody know, like Sydney and I waited. So like it really never felt real to me until that Wednesday. She was texting me, she was at work and she was like, I'm just not feeling good, like I'm lightheaded, you know, just all these things. And she's like, I think I want to go in. And I'm like, well, of course, you know, being a supportive husband, like I don't know how she's feeling. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm off work. I was like, just text me, I'll come pick you up so you don't have to drive. Picked her up, went in, and it wasn't even our doctor, but it was like the emergency doctor when you just like come in. They check her blood pressure, they do all this stuff, and he's like, he looks, he doesn't even literally look at Sydney. He looks at me and he goes, oh, you're gonna have your baby today. That was the first time the whole pregnancy it felt real to me. Like even with feeling kicks, nursery, seeing their body change, because I think most dads can agree. Like our lifestyle doesn't change as much.
Yeah.
You know, we do more stuff, like we're planning things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can just be like, hey, I'm gonna go film this podcast today with the guys. Is that cool? Yeah. Like me, I'm like, bedtime was good today. All went down. He's asleep. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You know? So like that day is when it felt real for the very first time. I was like, and then he came out and still didn't know what it was because it was nuts. That's when I don't know. Terrence, when did it feel real for you for the first time?
Honestly, everything, I try to like remember all of these things, and we've got like, we'll go back and look at the journal to see like, because it's only been 3 months. They've been here 3 months, and there's so much stuff that we have forgotten that's happened, or just like forgetting
you're right.
what it was like in month 2. So I want to, obviously when they were here, that's as real as it gets. So like the first time you see them, first time you hold them, that's from my memory, that's the first time it was real to me. And I'm trying to think if there was a time before that, and I really don't. Like every little milestone, I was like, oh man, it's coming, it's getting real. But nothing was really like, the only thing that sticks out to me of it being real is, you know, when I actually got to see him and hold him. And I mean, that's true. That's kind of true to like every other phase of my life, you know, like anytime I'm like preparing for something, it's like, whatever, like I'll be preparing for it or practicing or whatever. And it's not real until, you know, you're in the heat of the moment. So I could see that being, I don't think that I'm misremembering anything. I think it wasn't real to me until they were actually here.
Yeah. And you're right, because there was, I remember we were pretty far in, and Sydney was texting me all this stuff, and I was at work. And, you know, sometimes at work you get a little too busy to like just pick up your phone and engage in a full conversation. And I remember saying out loud, like to the guys at work, I'm like, oh, I'm not where she's at yet, you know. And one of the guys said back to me, he goes, "A mom becomes a mom the day she finds out she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a dad does not become a dad fully until he holds his child." And I was like, and he said it like it was like he was like speaking a proverb, but like because I just I was like, man, she's so like you're just talking out loud.
Yeah.
And at the firehouse, like most of us are like really close because we're spending a lot of time together.
Yeah.
So I was just like, and he said that, and I was like, you're right. Like, and that's how I felt. And I was like, it makes sense because like she's feeling all these changes.
Mhm.
I'm seeing some stuff, but I'm not feeling the changes.
Yeah.
It even goes
You know what I'm
back
saying?
to what Mark was saying about, both of y'all were saying about feeling the baby kick. I remember just being like, Dare was so excited for it. I couldn't feel it. So I was like, I mean, I had
know,
I had
yeah.
to fake like, oh, that's crazy. And I'm like, well,
He said, "I had to fake."
eventually, I wasn't faking like I was feeling
I know
it.
what you
I
mean.
know what
But
you
I
mean.
was
know
like,
exactly what you
wow.
mean.
Because naturally I would just be like, bro, I can't, like, I don't want to do this. I can't feel it. I don't want to just sit here with my hand on your stomach for 5 minutes and not feel anything. So,
Right.
Yeah, there were plenty of nights like that with us, like watching movies and stuff. She'll be like, "Look how tight my belly is. Put your hand over here, feel it." And I'm like, "Bruh, I'm just trying to relax."
It is crazy to like seeing like them
Oh, yeah.
lumps on the
Yeah.
belly, like and it's
yeah,
like
you're
you
right.
just
Oh yeah, I'm not taking away from any of it. It's a cool, crazy
it's wild,
experience.
bro.
I just saying like that relating between how they feel versus how we feel. Like I said, we're definitely not the only ones. Back to your rocker recliner thing. Definitely get one. They're A1.
Oh yeah, that's no doubt.
I just wish we had one that had like a recline. Like, and I'm not talking about like lay me back so I can sleep in it, but just like
That's where you can prop your feet up.
Yeah, I can either prop my feet up, recline, get you an ottoman,
Need it, bro.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about anybody else, but if I had to like my attribute level of like seeing in the dark and doing stuff is like through the roof now. Because but waking up in the middle of the night, you ain't turning lights on to get your baby and that. But I'll change diapers in the dark. Like my front squat game is on point because you're like
you gotta get up,
and you gotta like try to get up and like put them in the crib.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, start working on that stuff now.
Lights off.
If that was an Olympic sport, I might get at least bronze and like putting the baby in the crib. Like,
hell, it'll probably be an Olympic sport in 3 weeks from now. They have 3-on-3 basketball.
Everything's an Olympic sport now.
They have 3-on-3 basketball and
handball, basically.
Team USA didn't even have a team.
No, they've got a women's team.
They got a women's team, and they also have a trash men's basketball team.
Yeah, I'm assuming no pros. No pro is gonna. No NBA player is like, oh, I'm gonna play on the 3-on-3 team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
So they're probably just getting.
They should have reached out to Ice Cube and said, "Hey, man, let me get some of your big 3 players."
You want Katino Mobley?
I mean, but I bet 3-on-3 basketball is a completely different game. So those dudes have been playing that for a while. So why not go people that actually play that as a profession? Yeah, quotations on that, but you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, it's relatively new. I think it's more so for countries that can't like have this full on
team,
basketball team because like I said,
like the USA,
our men's basketball team. Like since we're on the topic, what'd you say?
I said like Team USA.
Yes, like our men's basketball team. Since like I said, we're on the topic now. What they lost their first Olympic basketball game in 25 games. So since 2004.
Since 2004, yeah.
2004, and the world, sports world wise, not the world. The sports world is like they suck. They're the worst.
Yeah,
they're like, there's no way they're gonna win this. Like, what's his name, Terrence? Who's the dude for the France team? That
Fournier.
Today. Yeah.
Fournier. Evan Fournier
was like, he even like, no, don't be wrong. Like, it's easy to be confident and cocky
when you win,
right? Because he was like, I mean, they're all good individually, but as a team, they're just not all there. Which
probably true.
It's probably true, but it's easy to say stuff like that when you just won, too.
Of course, yeah.
Like, would he have said that going into the game? Probably not, because then it would have been like, I mean, well, one individual, probably KD or somebody like that, just would have went nuts, and it wouldn't.
Right.
But I'm not going to give my take on the Olympics the men's basketball team because
make a prediction, Donovan.
Because I've been pretty cold on my takes lately. I'm gonna save my takes for football season. I'm done.
Yeah.
With anything that's not football related. But
I don't disagree with you.
if I had to pick,
Oh God,
they ain't gonna win gold. Okay, it's just not. They ain't gonna win gold.
save it for later.
Save
it.
Find that on the Instagram reel.
I can't wait. I can't wait till they're holding up their gold medals.
I will be okay if they won gold, and I said they did.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
It is weird to see them. It is weird to see them like not just running through everybody. And it like the preliminary games, I didn't really care because I was like, the whole team's not there. Nobody really cares. But it was weird to see them lose.
Mm-hmm.
And now to see them lose this first game where it like counts, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I think KD came out and was like, I don't know for sure if it was KD who said it, but it's something's out there where basically the players are like, yo, Popovich is trying to make us play like the Spurs, and they don't like it. And it's like, come on, like y'all are better than everybody out there. You can play however you want and still win this.
Saying, even if Pop was like, hey, this is how we're gonna play. When the whistle blows and the ball's in the air, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can still beat your man 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Right.
It's weird.
I mean, I do think it's a mistake to have Drew Holiday with the most minutes and the most points coming straight from the NBA Finals.
That is weird.
In your first game. That's just
wild.
So weird.
Could you imagine? I know they didn't fly in together, but could you imagine Devin Booker and Drew Holiday flying on the same flight
and Chris Middleton
after going? Yeah, and Chris Middleton. Like,
I would have been talking mad trash.
I would if I was Devin Booker, I'd have my headphones on. Looking straight, like, don't talk to me, bro. Not for a couple of days at least.
I don't know. I think Devin Booker, I'm not trying to stick in the subject too long, but he seems like one of those young guys who have like an old soul. Like, he's like, it is what it is. Like,
yeah, but at some point, like
even clip,
that wound's still fresh.
No, I'm not trying to say that, but even that clip of him, like, after they lost, and there was like a clip of him just kind of standing there, and he was like, damn. And he just kind of walked off. Like, it wasn't like he was just like, he doesn't seem like one of those young guys who kind of like are really petty about stuff. He kind of just like, all right, it is what it is.
I think he gets it.
But
speaking of petty,
yes,
you seen all the NFL
I love petty
COVID stuff going on in the NFL COVID protocols?
Are we saying petty. The NFL's petty, or the players, or the people are petty?
Both sides are petty, dog.
I think both sides are kind of petty with it. I don't think the NFL is necessarily petty, but there's a lot of pettiness going on in that whole situation.
Y'all run with this topic. I'll chime in on how I feel about it. It's different.
So exactly, it's tough. It's tough to put your stance on everything with that because then again, I'm not there and I'm not a player, but. For people that don't know, the NFL put out a rule where pretty much saying that if any player on either team that's playing that weekend isn't vaccinated and they have a COVID breakout, then the schedule has to be, the game's forfeited. They aren't going to make it up. And then no player on either team is getting that week's salary. I mean, that's a lot, but
it's a lot.
At the same time, the NFL's not going to lose money.
Exactly.
They're the only professional team. No. They're the only professional league that didn't miss a week last year.
They're not going to lose it.
And they were peak COVID.
Yeah.
They're not gonna lose it. So that puts pressure on the players and the athletes. And I kind of give them. I kind of understand why they're doing that. And I was really surprised to see all the pushback from a lot of professional athletes. And I feel like all the professional athletes I saw. They were like, I don't want my body in risk of this and that.
Yeah.
So how long have they been playing football for? Think about a professional athlete. They've been playing for how long? And how much CTE?
30 years.
Start with concussions. You're gonna put that on the line, but
I know it's weird. It's like, honestly, where I'm at with it, I'm just like, bro, you get paid millions to play, and I know this probably isn't. I don't know. It's not really taken in consideration, like the individual, but I don't know. I don't really have sympathy for them because they're millionaires and they're getting to play a game for a living. Like, if you don't want to play, don't play. If you don't want to get vaccinated and follow the rules, sit out. Simple. You don't have to play. Like, I don't know, man. It's just annoying. Like, it's so weird to hear. Like, you see COVID's going crazy,
Yeah.
and people are just like, it's not real, or I don't believe in a vaccine, which, you're entitled to your own opinion, whatever. You don't have to get it. But if you want to play in the league, this is what
I
you've got
think
to do.
I think we're at the point now where all politics aside, it's a virus. One way or the other, it's a virus. It's time to set the politics aside and let's
Yeah.
really look at this thing. Like, there's no people at the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's bigger than an American issue.
Right.
There's no people at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And how bad would that suck? Training 4 or 5, like your whole life to planet thousands, 100,000 people, and now there's no fans there when you're there.
Before I even jump into this realm, non-political, get the vaccine. Like, people, like, let's just be honest. Okay, so people will stay on any type of medication their whole life because the doctor says, hey, you have high cholesterol. You need to stay on this medication. You have, I don't know, let's use something simple. ADHD. You need to stay on this Adderall. No questions asked, right? Like, and we don't really truly know all the long-term effects of any medication, right? Because nobody really lives. I mean, nowadays, nobody just lives that long. Like, what's the average lifespan? 70, 75, whatever.
73, 76?
Right. It's not that crazy. What I'm saying is, so from the NFL standpoint, they're not using their stance to be like, get the vaccine or you can't play in the NFL. They're saying, okay, you have that choice. But if something comes up and you're the cause of a COVID outbreak in your locker room, your team has to forfeit. Your team does not, will not be able to play. That's a win for the other team, blah, 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 blah. You'll be fine. I'm cool with that. I don't see why anybody, but what they're saying is live your life. That's cool. Just know there's consequences for the way that you're living. As in you're a contract. Jay Williams, in his contract, it said he can't ride motorcycles.
That's
My
a good
man
point.
got in a motorcycle wreck and ruined his whole NBA career. They didn't owe him a dime because
they still paid him, though,
contract.
right? They still paid him.
They did. They were still nice enough to him for doing that. But what I'm saying is, all the NFL is saying is like, these are our policies. Just like if Ford said that, if the fire department said that, like, they're not trying to say like, don't do it. They're saying, but if you get caught doing it, it's just all it is. And then I was listening to sports radio the other day, and they were saying like, well, what if like NBC or ESPN sues the NFL? And they go, why would you sue the hand that feeds you?
Right.
Like, because you missed the game that week? You're not going to sue the NFL. NFL don't need you. Like, if NBC was like, we don't want to show your games anymore.
Okay,
because
ABC, come on.
All right, ABC. Yeah. All right. Heck, we'll go to True TV. Like, they will play our games every week. So I get what the NFL is saying. We don't want to lose our product on the field because it's billions of dollars. So all we're saying is, we're not going to accommodate and try to figure out this schedule like we did last year. Last year's totally different. There wasn't even a vaccine out yet. Now there's been a vaccine for 8 months or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice.
Did you see all the stuff like Cole Beasley was saying on Twitter about everything? And
I wasn't even going to get there. I wasn't even going to talk about that.
I will, because
that's fine. I said I wasn't going to.
That man's an idiot. Like, one of his things is legit said, if I die from COVID, at least I know I lived this life. I was like, so it just took my head. And then Mark Cuban called him on his bluff. He said something like, hey, I'll tell you what, if you get the vaccine and you push it on to everybody on your platforms, I'll buy you shares of Pfizer and give it to your wife. They pay a 3.9% dividend. Here you go.
Yeah, also Pfizer's only $41 a share. So
Mark Cuban's Mark Cuban's
buy you a couple shares.
I guarantee he'd buy him a bunch of them though, because Mark Cuban.
I do like Mark Cuban.
It's just funny. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Speaking of Mark Cuban in the state of Texas.
Okay.
I guess we'll stay in the sports realm a little bit longer.
So where are we going with
Texas? Texas is about to explode because they're about to switch from the Big 12 to the SEC.
Gosh. Man,
their golden child. Texas and but Oklahoma are pulling this. What is it? The NCAA merger of college football.
Yeah.
So is it RIP to the Big 12?
It will
Big
be if
12's
they
trash
leave.
anyway.
Big 12's it's been so. I just think it's funny. I mean, obviously the SEC is going to salivate to bring Texas because of the money.
And
But
You
OU.
as
definitely
far
take the
as
money.
as far as competition wise,
Oh, and
what are they bringing?
Well,
I mean,
OU.
OU will
Yeah.
compete. OU will compete.
OU will
but
compete.
I
and
think
Texas is
OU
going to
Texas
be
will be
the
somewhere in the
equivalent of
middle.
your. Texas is
think-
going to be a Kentucky of the SEC.
No,
I wouldn't say
Yo,
Kentucky. They'll be
tell me.
like
Man,
they'll be more of.
they'll be in the middle. They'll
honestly,
be. Look, I hate to say it.
Kentucky wasn't
They'll
bad
be
last
Auburn.
year.
Auburn's in the
that's what I'm
middle.
saying. Thank you. I was gonna say that they'll be all
Okay.
Like
okay.
they'll have their
Kentucky
good
went
years
bad.
and then they'll have bad years.
Before we even, I just want to get to this. Kentucky went back. Kentucky's schedule flops all the time.
Yeah,
so they're
you're
either
right.
going to be playing like Alabama, LSU,
Right.
Auburn, whatever, or they're playing like the lower end. So they're Tennessee, Vandy,
Yeah.
Mississippi State. Like those games they can win. It's always back and forth.
True.
So like when you're like, oh man, Kentucky won 8 games.
They played nothing but East teams.
They played the East of SEC. And I'm not trying to. I know I'm a Louisville fan, but I'm just saying, like, you got to look at like their schedule doesn't always play the top tier of the SEC. Whereas Michigan always does play Ohio State,
Penn State,
Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Like every year, you're playing the bigger schools.
And SEC East bottom feeder can kind of time everything out right. Like the recruiting class, get a good recruiting class, get a good year where it's like, oh, we don't play across division and play Alabama this year. So everything can work out right. And then Georgia and Florida at the top are like 1 year, you might get lucky against them.
Trade off years.
Yeah. So you can, like, Kentucky can have a great year. Tennessee hasn't happened. Tennessee could have a great year just off of like perfect timing. But
Tennessee has the most loyal fans for the most subpar football team I've ever seen.
It is crazy.
They are.
I don't understand how they like their Knoxville shuts down.
They do. I would be cool to go to a Tennessee game.
We'll put up a list. Let's just go.
I'd like to see them play like a bigger SEC team though. I've never been to an SEC football game. I think that'd be fun to do.
They're pretty nice, man. Their tailgate
it's different.
is crazy. Too.
Yeah,
they tailgate totally different.
I'm looking forward to them. Like I've been to a few. Every time Auburn comes to A&M, I'll go. Except I didn't go last year.
Oh, yeah,
but I'm hoping that they bring both of those teams in, and they put Texas in the West and put OU in the East. That way, no matter what, I get to at least twice a year I get to see Auburn, or I guess at least once a year I get to see Auburn in the state of Texas. But A&M and Texas get to play each other again. I feel like
that's a pretty big rivalry, right?
It used to be. And it's like Texas talks so much trash to A&M for coming to the SEC, and like
now look at them.
They've done well considering like everybody was like, you're a Big 12 team, you're going to be trash. They've held their own, and just having that leg up of like we're the only SEC school in the state of Texas, so it's going to bolster your recruiting. So I feel like Texas is seeing that, and A&M's supposed to finish second. Like last year they were just on the outside of the Final Four. So it's like A&M's kind of in a great spot, and as soon as they hit that, Texas is like, nah, we're done watching this. Let us join in.
Well, you talked about the Final Four with that, down the road extending. Like they're not going from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8.
Right.
They're already saying like we want 12 teams.
It should be. Give it teams. Because bowl games are irrelevant now. Bowl games
are irrelevant.
I get the irrelevance of bowl games. I'm with you on that. I think bowl games are a waste. It's just a way it's a waste for just giving them out.
It's not a New Year's Six bowl. It doesn't matter.
But what I'm saying is, why go straight to 12? I think 6, maybe 8, but 6 I thought was a good jump, just because you're like, hey,
you get the Power 5 and an extra.
All the time, you get your Power 5 and an extra every year.
I can imagine.
That's why I was like, let's see what 6 looks like before you go 12. But with this whole talk about mergers, where if I'm a team that's like I want to leave my conference, like Texas or Oklahoma. Now, granted, you got to think about where you're located. I would go to the Pac-12 and run the Pac-12 because if you're a Power 5 conference like the Pac-12. And you just go undefeated?
but
Yeah,
You're in.
you also
Pac-12
get no
gets a little
respect either.
disrespected too because of that.
They
Yeah.
do.
Their games
But
come on so late, so nobody's watching them, and everybody discredits them. It's this. You would be in the same boat as you were in the Big 12 5 years down the
Mhm.
road.
yes, but if you won your games, then they can't discredit. They at least got to say like, well, here we have a.
It'd be they're undefeated, but they're in the Pac.
They play on the
They're
Pac-12.
undefeated and they won their conference championship, so you can't leave
Yeah.
you out. I'm saying like if you're Texas, like I said, Terrence already said it. Oklahoma, I think, has a better fit for the SEC than Texas does. One, Oklahoma already has the offense. They just need to figure out their defense because they can score points. Texas,
Money.
That's just money. They don't really have the players,
Yeah.
but they got the money now. Can they rope that into name, image, and likeness? Because they're
I'm sure they can.
They're in the SEC now.
You know that. They're gonna, they're bringing in.
Can they get a Torchy's Taco
Yeah.
Deal for
Look, the name, image, likeness is not going to be an issue for any player coming to Texas. I guarantee you that.
No.
Honestly, really any school, I don't see why there would be any Power 5 school really.
Yep.
Well,
it won't be.
It's well overdue, but it's going to cause more trouble than gain, I think, when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
For name, image, and likeness. And the only reason I say that is, okay, we have Nick Saban sitting at a podium, and he's talking about his new quarterback who has not, played it down, but already has $1 million contract for name, image, and likeness as a Alabama football player. Now, should we know what these players are making? I say yeah.
Sure.
But should the coach be just sitting in front of the camera and telling you what it is?
Yeah, because
recruiting.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
It's free recruiting, I agree. But like, how would you feel if you was like, I'm walking around campus with just a backpack by myself every day, and everybody knows who I am, and everybody's like, dang, this dude's a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, get my lunch for me. Come on.
They knew it before. I think y'all are forgetting something. They knew this before.
Yes.
This is true.
Now it's just being said.
Football players, I know, but name, image, and likeness is it's gonna skyrocket so high that it has to crash, and then that's when all the regulations are gonna come. That's why I don't think the NCAA has fought a lot of it. Because
what I want to see is how it works with basketball players, because I think that's the real test here. Football is a little bit different because there's so many players, and there's probably 7 players at the top, like the top marquee players that you're going to talk about. Basketball, there's a few more. There's less players overall, but you're going to talk way more about a few of those players. Like think back to Zion a few years ago. Like, how much would he have made over the table with these these current rules? You know what I mean?
Oh, I would be surprised if he made anything less than $10 million.
Yeah. And
because what's the word on the street? I think they were like $500,000 to get Zion to go to Duke, and Duke, of course, Duke is like, we don't pay players, but I mean, who knows?
Still went to Duke.
Yeah,
we don't pay players.
So I'm only can speak locally just because
Rick Pitino.
Well, not Rick in general, but a good friend of mine. I'll shout him out, Joey Wagner. He does a lot of stuff with just local events and sports and all that stuff. Well, he was actually like the PA person. Like, he did all the stuff for Louisville basketball. So like, anytime you would hear stuff, if you were ever at a game and you would hear somebody talking and stuff, it was really Joey. Well, he had to step down from that role because his business decided to step into this name, image, and likeness market.
Right.
So he cut all his ties with U of L. Like, he was even doing a class, like
adjunct professor.
Yeah, like a events coordinator and all that stuff. Like he throws like all the derby parties and all that stuff that goes on here.
Right.
So he took his stuff out of that, and he's already got a bunch of U of L athletes and so on. And so, like, I reached out to him already and like, hey man, because he was like saying, I listen to your podcast, I like it, man, you're doing a good job. I was like, we would love to have you on when we start doing guests, because like, so when we get there, we definitely want to like kind of pick his brain on this name,
Right.
image, and likeness because he'll be able to tell us how it's going from the inside out, or we're just the outside looking in,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how it goes. So definitely hold me to that and remind me so we can pick his brain for that.
I do think though, like it'd be smart at the NCAA, which like I think I agree with what you said. Like they really don't care about it right now. They said,
They
okay,
don't.
fine, you want it, let's go ahead and do it, open it up. But it'd be smart, like if they required kids before they got any money to say, hey, you got to take one course your freshman year on accounting, a type of finance, something like that, to where you know how to manage because you're getting an ungodly amount of money quickly.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to manage that as a kid? Let's say like football, let's say that you're not going to make the NFL, but I can make $300,000 as a linebacker sitting back there who's not going to go play, but I'm going to make enough money to where I'm going to be able to live comfortably when I get out of here.
Especially if you're a fan favorite, like you said. Like if you're not this guy that, let's say you're a local player. Let's say you're a guy that
a senior bench warmer on the basketball team.
Well, not even that. Like say you're so far as local as like you were a high school player here. Yeah. You were a stud in high school. Yeah. You became this player at your local college, and you weren't like NFL type, but everybody knew who you was.
Like James Quick.
Okay, James Quick, Will Stein.
Yeah.
Players like that you knew were not going to be, but if you saw their face, you're like, oh, I know them.
Yeah.
So like, so I don't know. We can think Rowley's was like, oh, I'm going to give him, here's a $20,000 contract for you every post game to come on and just interview with this show that we sponsor. Right. Yeah, you're right. And especially if you're a kid who comes from, the mud, the projects or, poverty, and you're like, man, I ain't had a dime to my name my whole life. And now I got $1 million.
Right.
Everybody's pulling at you, or I want to go get this new car. I want to get this new chain. I want whatever. Yeah, they need a class because taxes. Uncle Sam, man, he's coming.
Yeah.
If I was a coach, I think I'd make them take it.
I think it should be a study hall.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I played at U of L. We had study hall every day before practice.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a study hall. Like, just be like, hey, everybody goes in here. It's a 30-minute class. We'll teach y'all some stuff about finances, and that's it. If there's anything else you need to work on, you stay in study hall and keep doing it. Wait till later on the day, practice later on.
Do we know that they're just cutting the checks, like they're allowed to cut the checks to these kids? Or because I heard in the beginning the plan was to which also doesn't really make much sense, but I don't know, was to put it in a pool that's distributed out over time throughout the course of the year or maybe 4 years. But I don't know how true that was. I don't know if that was because it seemed like this, like the ruling on the NIL stuff happened it seemed to me like a day, but I'm sure they had been working on this for a while. But it just seemed so quick because it was like you heard about it and then it was like, okay, this is what we're doing now. And there was so much talk about it. I haven't looked specifically for the rules like laid out, but I remember there were talks of it being, all this money goes into a pool and then it gets distributed out to the players. But then people were like, if you're an adult, like nobody's doing that to your money. Like you get paid when you get paid. So I don't I am curious to see like exactly how the money's supposed to be distributed to the kids, because if it is that way where it's just, hey, you negotiate your deals, you do this, you do that, like professionals get screwed over. Like how are you gonna expect me as a college athlete to negotiate a deal for myself while also being a student athlete and not have an agent to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a lawyer on retainer that I can go and say, hey, can you pick through this contract for me and tell me if I should sign it or not? Like I guess you would rely on your parents for that, but what about kids? Like what about people in situations where they don't have that? You know what I mean? So I'm not really I just want to know how they expect to keep this safe for the kids, I guess is the best way to put it.
I think it's gonna like you said, Don. It's gonna get It's gonna get really bad really quick, and it's just because it's gonna be a lot of money coming in. And you're talking about like kids that never have money in their life, they're gonna get screwed on any deal. Like you're saying, Terrence, because they're gonna say you're gonna give me $10,000 when really what they're doing could be 10 times more than that. But they're gonna see $10,000 and they're gonna say, go ahead and
Well,
pay
I'm
me.
taking it.
you can't look at it as like, well, I could really give you 50, but I'm only going to say here's 25. Like so, like I said, I said something about my buddy Joey. Joey's that middleman for those people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna sit at the table with you and be like, hey, this is a good deal. So like they're almost getting agents.
Oh,
Like
okay.
yeah, you can't go in there by yourself like Terrence, Mark, or Donovan and be like, yeah, I definitely would. I would like this Aquafina deal. Like hydrating during the summer. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have somebody represent you. So that's the smart thing, right? And then, like you said, your school should be like, hey, we're gonna help you out as well because you're gonna have taxes. You're gonna have to learn how to finance this money, but whatever. But I think where it's going to get worse is schools are going to be getting paid to be giving money out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, here's Mark. Here's Mark. He's this top player we want. Hey man, we got a good deal with a local car lot. They give you $25,000 each season. All you got to do is just say like, I drive this Buick from
Yeah.
Sam Swopes, whatever, right? Well, they give you 25, but they give the school
How
they give the
10,000? Yeah.
school 30.
Yeah.
They you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, here's 30,000, but we gave 5 to the school. Now we got a box suite. We got all that. Like I'm saying, it's going to get dirty somewhere.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure it out.
Because you can already
But
see like I think the quarterback from Georgia, I can't remember his name, and then the quarterback from North Carolina, Sam Howell, like they're just in the pipeline for CAA to be represented by them. CAA is already like, hey, we'll pay you for your NIL, and it's like, well, obviously the trade off is going to be,
right.
I'll let one of your agents represent me, so they're going to make damn near $1 million, and it's just going to be early money
sense.
from CAA, which is like it's kind of it seems like it's cheating because you're not supposed to have an agent, you're not supposed to be represented, but you're in bed with them already, and you know
Well,
what
see,
this is going to lead to.
They were already allowing agents and stuff for like, well, it was pretty new with like college basketball players to like check the summer league out.
Yeah,
And see if
when you
they
want to.
Right, they just started allowing that, so like they were kind of getting there. But I know what you're saying. Like, hey, basically, I can be your agent starting now.
I can be your agent. It doesn't matter.
Leaving high school, and as long as you take my money when you leave college, I'm your agent still. Instead of do your time in college,
Yeah.
hey, I want to be your agent.
But that made sense for him to do it with basketball because it's like, so I'm gonna go and test the waters, and then if I don't get a favorable like result, or it doesn't look it doesn't look good for me to be like, I'm not going to be a lottery pick, then yeah, I'll come back. Yeah, it only makes sense for you to get an agent to really probe and see where you're going to end up.
To talk, because you're just out there performing, And I always had an issue with that too, but we're not going to get into that because we've been on this.
I will say though that I think, and one more thing, and then we can move on. But I think that what helps the most with the name, image, likeness is that it doesn't favor your high dollar team, high dollar sports. So I'm looking like having background in wrestling. That's like I'm kind of biased. Like your smaller sports, they can still go out and make money, like by themselves if they're good at marketing themselves. If they're like a hometown kid and they're wrestling somewhere, they can still make money like that instead of just saying. My thought was always when they started paying these athletes, your football and basketball players are going to get paid.
Well, I know I see what you're saying there, but don't you agree that no matter what, like the quarterback on Alabama, the quarterback on Tech, like certain players, yes. When you get to a certain status, you're going to make more money, and it's going to be harder for any wrestler, the best wrestler in the country, to even replicate that.
Right.
No doubt.
So it still kind of favors.
Absolutely, but it helps them. It helps out their smaller sports because they have just as much of an opportunity to go out and make this money.
Well, that's where a business like my friend I was talking about comes into play. Right. So, like, let's say you are that, like, man, I get a good vibe. I have a great time. I'm a wrestler. Like, I'm always at Waffle House. They know me when I walk in. And you go to him, and he's like, man, he's like, hey, well, let's go to Waffle House and see if they'll you let's say this. All right,
Yeah.
you're Mark. I'm a wrestler at this school. Like, I'm always Waffle House because I love it there. It helps me keep my weight. Whatever. I don't care what it is. But you have 25,000 followers on your Instagram, right?
Right.
So for a local place, they're like, well, hey, that's free advertisement for us if we just give him. And like I said, the sponsorship thing can range from you can eat here for free as long as you're a student in wrestling at this school, or it can be like we'll give you $1,000 for every post. You know what I'm saying? Like it can be whatever you want it to be. So you're right. You can go out there and put in your own work, but Terrence is also right too. It's easy to follow the the popularity, right? So like, and I said we're really on this topic, but it's a good topic. Haley Van Liff, she's a female basketball player for U of L here locally. She already had 1 million followers before she committed to U of L. Damn. Right?
Really?
Like, yeah, she was like one of the top female basketball players in the nation. She was having pictures with Kobe Bryant was going to her games with his daughter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was just one of. So what they're saying is someone like that who already has the establishment. Like, she was a freshman that started every game. Now she's going to be our number one lead player next year because of course you would be like, hey, we want to give her because her platform is already built.
I will say though,
money in college than she does at WNBA.
Probably. I will say though, one of the things that I think a lot of the players are going to learn is, like you were saying with the 1 million followers, you can't, like, one of the things that comes with just going off your follower count as your platform, you can have 1 million followers. Only a certain amount are going to engage, and if you're on there trying to sell something, well, it also depends on how this NIL works for her. But if you're on, like, there's only a certain amount of followers who are going to engage, and then there's only a certain amount of followers who are going to like engage at a point where it's like, hey, I'm selling this thing, y'all participate. So like that 1 million followers is quickly going to drop for her, in her case, where it's like, well, if she's trying to sell like, hey, I've got 1 million, companies are going to be like, yeah, but based on our analytics, that 1 million followers only means this for us. So it's like you can't really sell the follower thing as far as like as far as something for like your NIL, but I think it really does come down to your, like, just your status as a player and your name, obviously, like how many commercials you're going to be in, and how the NCAA or ESPN is going to use you to be like,
well, that's
hey,
what I'm trying to say. Like,
let's sell this.
She already has that platform. I'm not trying to say like you're 100% right. Like if she was like, drink smart water because I drink smart water and I play basketball. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose whatever. But if you go about it the right way,
it's not a very good commercial.
Well, I'm just saying, like, no, it's a horrible commercial. But if you go about inserting and plugging advertisement within your normal stuff, that's where it changes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't chase stuff that people are like, hey, buy this. Like even us using our platforms, like check out our episode, check out our whatever. We know not everybody's going to click on that and be like, oh, well, let me check out their new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Let me whatever. So you got to be kind of wary of that. But like, that's why, we're trying to build different ways. So like with her or anybody, you can just be like, this is a normal post of me doing this thing. Like, oh, and like people just are just like, oh, they like that too? Yeah, I like that. I like the outfit she's wearing. What brand is that? And she might be sponsored by that brand without even telling you she's sponsored by that brand. So yeah, there's different ways to go about it. But I know what you're saying. You're right. Like you don't want to just basically you don't want to throw it in everybody's face and be like, I'm sponsored by these people, so you need to buy them.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to get you far with that because
you're good, man. It's
just gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I am excited to see it.
It is. I'm already trying to work on Chandler's NIL right now. Trying to figure out Gerber baby or something.
Send them stats to him.
Get him something, bro. Because I mean, like, obviously you can get it now.
Yeah, we had this just reminded me. We had a company randomly on the boys' Instagram account DM us, and I was like, yo, Darren, let's get this back. And I was like, yo, just let me negotiate. I got this. So of course they're like,
Collab.
What were they trying to get?
they just
Collab.
they were
Do you
like,
remember
hey,
this
you
app?
can. We really love like, and I was like, this isn't really. You guys aren't doing a really good job of like selling us on this because they were like, they started out the first couple messages just like, hey, we love the pictures of your boys, blah blah. We love your content, and I'm like, bro, we got 3 pictures, like content,
Three pictures.
and but they were like, hey, we're a
Copy and
company,
paste.
we do this, we do that, blah blah blah. And they're like, we would love for you guys to be brand ambassadors for us. And I was like, like I was like, man, I thought y'all were gonna drop a bag on us or something, like something real. But then they came back and they said, what did they say? They're like, I was like, Dara, did you follow up with them? She never followed up, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. So I hit them back up, and they said they're basically like, "Hey, we're gonna give you an ambassador code, and you guys, or yeah, an ambassador code. You guys can take that, a discount code. You guys can take that, buy as much merchandise as you want, and then from there you
Oh,
can post." And I was like, "Bro, y'all just trying to get money. Like it's clear y'all are just trying to get money out of us, which it makes sense. Like I guess they
yeah.
see it as like a two-way deal, but I was like, nah." And just never messaged them back. They've messaged me like 3 times, and I'll see it like it'll pop up and be like for that account, and I'm just like, bro, no, I'm just gonna keep scrolling and doing what I'm doing. But it was pretty funny because when it first came up, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. We about to get to this money.
You see, I bet people see that and like, oh man, they're gonna. Then they follow through with it
Yeah.
and waiting to get a bag from them, and then they get nothing in return, and it's just
No, I'm good.
yeah, that's funny,
So we're
man.
holding out. We're gonna wait till we get to the NCAA. We'll get paid then.
He said, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I didn't think you could get paid in high school
You
too.
can get your NIL in high school.
Yeah.
You can get it anytime, really. I mean,
Hey, LeVar Ball was ahead of his time, dog.
Yeah.
his kids would have been eating. Well, maybe not. I don't know. No, man, it's a lot going on in sports. Like I said, I'm done with my takes until
It's probably wise.
football season. Shut up, Mark.
Football.
It's all good. So yeah, we got yeah, we don't really have much going on coming up, man. It's kind of weird. Like summer's dwindling down. I think Sydney and I are gonna try to take a little small trip. We got another vacation, bigger vacation coming up in September. Terrence and his wife Dara will be on that. But like here lately, man, we've been talking a lot about like family vacations, like in the future, down the road, like how do we want to control that dynamic or go about using that, like because we do want to do a lot of stuff with just us and our family, like immediate,
Yeah.
our household. But then we also want to be like, grandparents, come on, like hey, we're gonna go here for whatever, more so. I mean, I'll be honest, to use them as babysitters, but
Yeah.
but to also have that like like memories with our kids, our grandkids. So like, we've been trying to kind of figuring out like how or what vacations would be we would do with each because our parents are older, like we're not gonna be like, hey man, you want to go
So New York City.
well, not in that. But like, you want to go hike the mountains in Colorado or something, like they might not be up to that. So I don't know. Have y'all given any thought? I mean, you just came back from vacation with your in-laws, and I know Terrence, you've been to what, Europe and Italy or something like that with your in-laws.
Yeah.
Now with the babies and soon to be babies, like have y'all thought about how y'all would do that? Because have y'all, Terrence? I'll start with you. Have y'all taken a vacation with your mom or with your dad or anything like that?
Not with no, we've like met them places. Like we met my family in Alabama for like I guess like a little family reunion. It wasn't officially a family reunion, but it was just like, hey, let's all just get back together. So that kind of stuff. But we haven't we haven't like officially taken any like trips together. And as far as the boys taking them, I think I mean, I wouldn't really even consider this a family vacation, but like we'll just be with fam. Like we've got some of Dara's family from Louisiana. I may have brought this up in the past, but they'll be in town for Thanksgiving. So, and I mean, it's not really travel for us. I think we're just gonna drive like a couple towns over to see them, stay at an Airbnb, and then come home. But I haven't really even put thought towards like any real vacations.
Yeah.
Because we're not even taking them with us in September, so it's like
No, neither are we.
every everything that's like on the horizon or anything on the horizon that involves a flight, the boys won't be involved. So I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's actually what sparked me even thinking about it because I was on the phone with the other couple that's going with us in September out to Arizona. And, like I was sitting there saying, like, man, how cool is it that like us three, great friends and our spouses or whatever, we get to have a vacation together. It's kind of cool to do that. And I was like, hopefully one day, we can do it even bigger, like us and our kids or
Yeah.
like whatever. So it kind of made me think, like, man, I want to do some traveling of the world and whatever, but I also want to do it with my parents. I didn't get to do any vacations with my parents. Like the most we did was like maybe go to, I don't really like I said, I don't know, Chicago,
Like Cedar Park or something.
yeah, like yeah, Cedar Point
Or
or
Cedar Point.
all these like small things that were really quick trips. Then like I see that now, like I said last week, I'm 18 and 12 years older than my siblings. So I see what they get to do with them. And I'm like, I wish I'm proud of them because I know my parents worked hard to get to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, man, I didn't get to do any of that stuff with my parents, and like my wife has plenty of photos with her and her grandparents on vacations and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I want my kids to have that same thing. So we've already kind of started talking about how we want to go about that. And I don't want to limit it to just like, oh, we'll go to the beach next year. Like, I'm like, there's way more to do than just
Yeah. I hate the default beach trip.
Drive to the default beach trip. Like, oh, we'll go to the beach for a week. Like, there's way more than that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know you just got back from Hawaii with yours. I know you've done some trips with your parents.
Yeah.
Like, have y'all? I guess you might not even thought about that yet. Your plate's different right now.
Yes and no. Like we haven't like Sierra and I ourselves haven't talked about it, but we're going on a family vacation with my family next summer.
Okay.
To a beach.
But I do understand. I do understand like why you go to the beach.
Easy.
I just don't like the beach.
I know. I get it. I get it.
Person. I don't have to go all the time. So we've actually, before you keep going with that, we've actually, Cindy and I have agreed that it's not an every year thing now. So we got it to every other year at least.
Yeah.
There's going to be some years where it might be 2 years because I'm like, I want to go see things. Like the beach is the beach to me.
You don't do anything.
Exactly. You don't.
Which is kind of the point of vacation.
I do have, I will say, like, it is fun. But, like, that's what my, like, family vacations usually been. It's been to the beach. When I was younger, I have family lives up in Massachusetts.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, up in, my dad's mom and his sister live up there.
Okay.
So we used to drive up there as a kid on road trips. We'd do road trips up to Massachusetts. And that's a haul.
What is that, 14?
Yeah, because you drive through Pennsylvania and everything. And kind of going on a tangent, but just thinking, like, I remember driving, we had the minivan, my dad, he was clutch though. He'd set up a TV in the center area of the van. I'd sit in the back and I'd play Madden the whole trip up. Like,
that's fire.
It was winning. It was clutch. I didn't really even care.
You're still trash.
You're one to talk.
What do you mean? She beat me once, I think, twice, maybe.
Terrence.
Hey, all I know, I don't know if any of y'all would beat me in that.
It was the last time we played. You did beat me.
We'll have to run it back another day. But no. So we'll go with my parents, my brothers, Sierra and Kai, and it'll actually be fun though because we got a house on the beach where we can walk down. It's like walking right from the beach. Got our own pool.
Yeah. That'll be dope for y'all because like you and all of your brothers are married, so it's like. The whole family will be together.
Yeah.
And their
this will be the first time.
Yeah, we don't really have.
It'll be the first time it's happened in a long time for us because usually, like, what we do is we'll go on because I only get 2 weeks of vacation right now. So I have to use that very sparingly, you know. And so usually we'll go on a vacation with her parents. Then next year we'll go on vacation with my parents. But with COVID and me getting married, my brother's getting married, like, we all have gone on a vacation together, so it'll be fun getting everybody together and doing that.
That is too. Like you have a closer dynamic with your brothers too, because y'all not super close in age, but y'all are a lot closer than Terrence, his brother, and my brother. So we're this is a larger gap.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like growing up, I always thought that we were so far apart, but now like I'm
Now
like
it's like, yeah,
31 and they're like
Yeah.
25, 27,
Once you hit a
26.
certain age, it doesn't really matter
Man, it's
anymore.
like the same.
yeah, man. Yeah,
I-
we're doing the beach. We're doing the beach next year too, and I think we talked about this the right before Terrence left, where I was like, all right, we can do the beach. I was like, but we're not getting a condo together, And she's like, well, that might be like 5,000. I said, I'll pay 10,000 to
Do you
have my
want to
own
get a
condo.
condo with the in-laws?
It's just the space thing. Like think like as close as I'm sitting to you right now.
Oh, you
Yeah.
tripping?
That's the condo. Actually,
Oh.
it wasn't you. It wasn't you. I was with another group of friends that we were out with. I thought I was with Terrence, but it wasn't. But not what I'm saying is like I want to be on vacation too,
Yeah.
and like it's just different if like you just go and conform to everybody else. Like I want to be. I'm here too. Like I'm taking my time off from work. Like
Yeah.
I want to enjoy myself just as much as you're enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes having your space is enjoying
Yeah.
enjoying yourself. Like if you're in a 3-bedroom condo with 2 baths, it's just, sometimes you're just cramped. So
Mhm.
Sydney was like, no, I agree. Well, she was like, well, I'd just rather do what you are doing. Get a house, have a big house, a pool, and the beach. And I'm like, 100%. And she was like, it's going to be expensive. I was like, either way, we're paying for ourselves.
It's worth it, yeah.
So like, I don't care like what it is. Like we'll just go.
And like back when you were saying, bringing parents with you, it's also we're gonna have babysitters too.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
fine.
we want to
and
go
that's
out
another
and do
reason.
that. And
Right. Like, hey, he can go stay in your room, your condo, or whatever tonight. Like we got ourselves to, our room.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's just something that's
On
been
this
going
topic
us.
though, as I was taking my mom to the airport today, we there was a somebody doing a U-turn like right as you exit like our neighborhood, pulling an RV, and I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I think like honestly, I've been kind of thinking about like just taking trips and stuff like after we flew with them. And I was like, it was cool that they got to fly for free, but after 2,
Yeah.
that's not the case anymore. And I mean, we plan to have at least one more kid. So at a certain point, it's like, I'm not paying for, at least 5 flights. So I was like, I think eventually we'll just get like an RV and we'll just take hella road trips. And she was like, oh, if y'all do, I'm coming with y'all. And I'm like, yeah. But it's like,
go ahead and strap on the car in the back of the RV.
Tracy said, I'm going.
But it's like, or a trailer rather than like an actual like RV that rolls itself. I just put it onto the truck. But I don't know, like that excites me because I mean, shit, y'all know how many times I've driven back to Indiana. Like I do enjoy like just driving, putting on music, putting on whatever.
And that's
so
and
that'll be
you're
dope
in the
for
ballpark.
me.
Yeah, you're in the ballpark of what I'm thinking about as trips. Like I'm not saying like we gotta do something extravagant, but I'm saying like you said, like let's go out and see, I don't know, Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
something you can do as a family. Like So you're right. You're 100% where I'm at. I don't know if you could pull a camper with your Ford Lightning electric that you want.
You absolutely.
I guarantee you I could. Shit, the Tahoe would do it right now.
10 trailers with that Lightning electric car.
I hope so. It might be. Good thing it'll map out all your charging stations.
You can go on and take your diesel Hemi-powered truck.
I was about to say the thing that would be the issue is the issue would be finding all the charging stations for real.
If it's anything like Tesla, then they'll be mapped out for you.
It's gonna be better than Tesla.
He's getting all his Ford talk.
But like I agree with what you're saying, going exploring and seeing things, because like I know that whenever we go with her family or my family, we'll always go to the beach. Like it's easy to do with a bunch of different groups of people, and different people, like because it's a common thing to do. Mm-hmm. But Sierra and I, we like to travel, so I know like we've already talked, like we can't wait to take Kai places that we've already been to and places we want to go.
Yeah.
Like, and we were saying the other day, like, I really think we could take him to New York City because I want to go back and I want to take him back. Like, I think we could take him, when he's a little bit older, but
yeah, I would want him to enjoy New York City. I wouldn't want to just have to.
Like, I just want him to be well traveled. And
well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference between your vacation, like your family vacation. Mm-hmm. So what I mean is, Mark, Sierra, Kai's, this is our vacation.
Yeah.
Are you tagging along with us? You are? All right, cool. This is our vacation. Right? Rather than like Sierra's mom being like, hey, I really want to go to Panama this next year. Well, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Like that's her vacation with the family. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. There's just a difference. Anyway, let's jump into it. Let's finish this off, boys. Let's finish this off. Good Lord. Whew.
You got a would you rather?
Who came up with the would you rather?
I don't know. It's
what does it say?
It's a good
would you rather have a horrible job but be able to retire comfortably in 10 years, or have your dream job but have to work until the day you die?
Okay.
Retire comfortably. That's a good one. What's comfortably?
We still don't have an intro segment for would you rather. We gotta get one of those. We gotta get one. We got a producer now. Maybe he can come up.
Yeah, maybe we can get something going. For this would you rather, I'll go ahead. I'll jump out. I'll jump off with this one. So I'm assuming retiring comfortably means that I don't have to worry about anything.
I don't have to worry about a thing.
And I can just live the life that I want to as a retired man and with Dara. So I'll go ahead and just say I'm working that horrible job for 10 years and retiring comfortably, because I've talked to Dara about this, and I think I've told, anytime I talk to anybody about this, like when people are like, what is your dream job? I'm like, look, I mean, I'm not in my dream job now. I'm where I want to be. It's not my dream job. But honestly, if I got paid to play video games every day, I would just get tired of it. If I got paid to take naps, if I got paid well to take naps every day, I would get tired of it. I just don't think that I'm supposed to be working. I'm supposed to be a sugar baby, dog. Like I'm supposed to have a sugar mama who is taking care of me. I'm not supposed to be working. So honestly, I'm just gonna grind it out for 10 years, and then I can live my life.
Hey,
that's funny.
Funny. I think I agree. I'd take that 10-year hit, because if I started right now with that 10-year, that put me at 41.
Yeah.
That's not that old, and I can live the rest of my life pretty happy. But you think, what kind of mental toll or physical toll does that 10-year job do on you too, that could affect your rest of your life, even though you can live comfortably? Like, are you gonna remember that movie Click with Adam Sandler when he would click through stuff and he'd get me to where I get a promotion, and he'd fast forward like all the way to where he was like real fat and just like didn't have a family or nothing because he dedicated so much time to his job?
Yeah.
Like, could you work that horrible job and sacrifice everything, but then you get to live comfortable?
10 years of sacrifice is a lot. Like in that sense of like, I'm just going to ignore everything and like keep my head down and get through it. I didn't even really think about that. I just assumed like I'm going to work a shitty job. And
so what are you
now
saying?
That I just talked, at first I was with Terrence, but now I just talked that out.
I feel like you just talked yourself.
I think I just talked myself out of doing that, and I want to do my dream job the rest of my life. Now, if you're going to ask me what my dream job is, I agree with Terrence. I don't know what my dream job is.
Yeah.
But if I was given that option, I sure as hell would find something I really enjoy doing, and I would do it every day.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah.
I know, because I will say this. Like, when Terrence was talking, I was like, you're right. 10 years, let me do my thing. I'm doing it. Then you came in with this, like, but what toll of that is it going to take in my life? Like, am I going to be broken down, mentally unstable, whatever you could think of in 10 years, right? And then I started thinking, my dream job is to live. Like, I don't want to have to like check in and clock in every day. Like, I don't. My dream is to not, like Terrence said, I don't want to have to work. And that might be like, and what I mean by that is like, life is way too short for me to just owe everything to a job. Like, to be like, well, bills are coming in, I guess, I got to go do this. Like, so me, if I can say, like, if I can give this sacrifice 10 years and I can just live the rest of my life, like you said, 10 years is 41, right? I'm with Terrence. Like, I'm gonna sacrifice this 10 years time and be like, all right, if I can do this, right? Because within that 10 years, you're gonna get vacations. You hopefully.
Not at a horrible job. You don't. You get guilt shamed into not taking off, so then you don't get the.
Hey, I got guilt shamed into taking 12 weeks off parental leave at my job because guys like, oh man, you take
back in my day, we didn't get any time off.
So I'm getting guilt shamed now.
That's facts. Yeah.
But to me, my dream job is to live and travel and just do what I want to do. So I'm gonna take 10. Take 10 and just let it be.
That's good.
That's kind of how I see it. But you had to your point, it's like really good. It does make it seem kind of like, is it worth it? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What would you do, Tony? I'm gonna keep asking him. One day he's gonna answer.
Every time. So what would you do, Tony?
It's not.
Man, God,
it's tough, isn't it?
I'm working that dream job.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
He's already working his dream job.
I'm like my job right now is I can do this the rest of my life.
Yeah,
that's our producer in the background, as you can probably hear.
Shout out T-Moore. Can I get some of those fog horns? Shout out T-Moore.
Hey, drop a flex bomb on that.
Yeah, flex bomb.
Flex bomb.
Oh man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up though. What do you think? I think
you gonna close it out.
I think it's been a pretty good episode. I'm glad to be back in the Treehouse Lounge, and Terrence, glad you able to be here. We got.
I'm glad to be back home.
No
lag, baby.
Hey,
no lag.
I'm telling you, it only lagged when the third person joined. Now that we've got two, we're good.
That's what it is.
It probably is. Y'all be sure to bear with us. We're learning a lot. We're doing a lot, but we've enjoyed. What is this? Our 12th episode.
12th episode. The audience is growing with us. They're seeing us grow. We're like in our toddler stage now.
Basically,
we're in a terrible twos.
And we appreciate all of our listeners, all of our viewers. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the follow button on Instagram. And like we've always said this, don't be afraid to reach out to us. Shoot us topics here. Shoot us things y'all want to hear about.
Tell us we suck if we suck. I'd rather know if I
let me know when my takes are trash. They're not.
My takes are trash. My takes are freezing cold, hot trash. Just trash. But we appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the episode. Peace.